Yo, what's up, peoples? Moon616 here, and it's time for another 10 and 10. This is volume 11. Yeah, might as well just get right into it. But if you don't know what you're watching here, it's just where I talk about 10 films in about 10 minutes. Just giving my thoughts on them, minor plots, and yeah, that's how we do it. Alright, first up, a film called Slaughter Studios. This is relatively really low budget slasher film from the early 2000s. This one, it's about a group of young filmmakers and actors and stuff that break into this abandoned studio called Slaughter Studios. It was abandoned like 20-something years before because one of the actors that was shooting a film there was actually shot and killed on the set. And so they abandoned the studio. And basically the story is they're just in there. They're trying to make this film within like one night or whatever. Just, pretty much for shits and giggles, something kind of cool. And of course, all hell breaks loose. People start getting picked off one by one. And, some of the kills are pretty decent. There's some pretty fucking, there's a lot of blood in a couple scenes, but, some of the actors are pretty annoying. There is some pretty fucking funny parts in the film, but, overall, it's just like an average, low budget slasher film. I guess it was worth the watch. I had fun with it, I guess. Next up, Don't Answer the Phone. This is part of the Katarina Nightmare Theater, line. It's basically about like an ex-Vietnam vet that is terrorizing a town and fucking strangling women like left and right. And while he's doing it, he's actually taunting this like psychiatrist that's she has like a radio show, or she's on this radio show, I should say, and he keeps giving her calls and stuff like that and fucking just totally terrorizing her and shit. And the overall film is actually quite good. He's an interesting looking killer because he's not your typical looking, I guess serial killer. I guess this movie is pretty much a slasher film, right? He's going around killing women, so it's, but he's not your ideal looking one, and it's kind of interesting to watch. But no, I had fun with it. It's there's a really funny scene in a hotel room that I once you watch this film, you know what I'm talking about. But I actually kind of laughed about it. I do recommend that film though. I thought it was pretty good. Next up is a film called Sick, and it stands for Serial Insane Clown Killer. This is a really low budget, like shot on video type slasher film, clown slasher film. It's simple as this, a bunch of I guess they're older, mid-20s, 30s or whatever. They go out to this cabin, this buddy's cabin. He rounds up his friends and stuff, and out in the woods, like they're way out in the woods and shit like that, and they start getting picked off one by one. It's a very simple storyline with, it does have a pretty decent twist at the end. I saw some of it coming, but the other half of the twist I didn't really see coming. But I don't know, man. It was okay. Some of the gore effects were okay. The acting was decent enough. It's another one of these films that's worth a watch. I don't highly recommend this one to the fullest, but I did have fun with it, and I'm trying to get more into killer clown movies because clowns scare me. So I don't know, these type of films I have fun with. But yeah, that's Sick. It stands for Serial Insane Clown Killer. Kind of like the title. It's pretty fun. Next up is a film called Slaughter Night, and I really fucking enjoyed this film. It was awesome. Just a blind grab, just doing, some horror movie shopping, picked up this one. The movie starts out where they're showing this, I guess he's a serial killer back in like the 1870s or whatever, and what he's doing is he's actually like killing kids and stuff. Anyways, they capture him, and what they do, because they'd abolished the death penalty by this time. And so what they did with these killers, or these convicted killers and stuff, they made them into firemen. And what a fireman was is that they go down to these mines and stuff, and basically, they would have like these torches and stuff, and they were looking for like methane. And, if it exploded, they died. And the thing was, no one ever got out. It was like a foolproof plan to kill these criminals off. So anyways, the story jumps to the present day, and this girl right here, she's driving with her dad, and they have an accident, and they die, or he dies. And so basically what he was doing, he was actually investigating these type of murders and stuff, like, or the whole mine situation and stuff. And so she gathers up a bunch of her friends and they go to investigate this mine just to see what it was all about and stuff. And it kind of turns into like it's like a, you know, a supernatural demon slasher film, and you know, it had some pretty fucking good kills. I really liked the camera work in this film. It was dark. It was fun, man. I had a lot of fucking fun with this. I thought it was going to be like a really shitty film, but no, I highly recommend Slaughter Night. It was fun. Next up is a film called Blood Car. This film is fucking hilarious, man. I had a lot of fun with this one too. It's about a kindergarten teacher, a vegan kindergarten teacher that, you know, is pretty much, you know, tired of paying high gas prices and stuff. So what he's doing is he's trying to invent a car that runs on like wheatgrass fuel, you know. So he's every day is going to see this girl, is picking up wheat grass and stuff, and you know, it's just not really working. He can't get these engines to work and stuff. And then he kind of has like a little bit of an accident in his room where he cuts himself and he gets his blood into the wheatgrass, into the mixture and stuff. And the engine starts working in his room. So he takes that, you know, solution and puts it into a car, and he's like, holy fuck, it works. So basically now he's got to, you know, start collecting blood. So he starts off killing animals, which is so fucking funny. He's like crying when he's shooting them and stuff, and then he can't do it, so then he ends up, you know, trying to, you know, kill people, and it's fucking hilarious. But the whole time he's being chased by like the FBI and stuff, and they want his, you know, what he's done, you know, they want his invention and shit. It's fucking so funny. I had so much fun with this film. It was a blast. Next up is Death Ship. This is a film starring George Kennedy from 1980. It's basically about a killer ship. Yeah, you know, the movie starts out with this huge cruise ship or whatever, and then all of a sudden this death ship comes in and basically rams them and sinks the ship. And you got a boat full of survivors here that end up boarding this ship. And you know, the ship basically has a mind of its own. You know, it's possessed, and you know, it starts fucking doing crazy shit and stuff. And I really like the atmosphere of this film, man. It's fun. You know, there's not really a whole lot to say about it, but it's, you know, it's like that. It's I don't want to really give anything away. You can watch it for yourself, but I really enjoy this film. I remember watching this years and years ago and fucking loving it, but finally got a decent transfer on here. This is you know, originally this was supposed to be part of the Cantarina Nightmare Theater, but for some reason it doesn't say it up on the top there, but it actually does have an intro from her, so I don't know whatever happened with that. But no, this transfer, I have another DVD copy of this, and it's just the worst transfer in the world, but this is good. I highly recommend Death Ship. It's fun. And then next up is Suburban Nightmare. Actually, the next bunch of films have Nightmare in the titles. I didn't even plan this out. This is just random. Yeah, so Suburban Nightmare. It's about a couple that, you know, they're your everyday average fucking neighbors and stuff, but they're not really, because they're actually serial killers and stuff. But you know, this film starts out really well, and I thought it ended pretty cool. The only problem I have with this film is kind of the middle of the film. It's really about them and their personal relationships, and they fucking fight so much. But you know, like when you're in a room with people that are fighting, you feel awkward. It's kind of how I felt watching this film a little bit. The end was kind of cool, like I said, you know, it was, but you know, I don't fully recommend this film. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but you know, it was okay. Suburban Nightmare. It's, you know, it's from Shockorama. I mean, it's low budget, but it's not like ultra low budget. Whoa. Next up is a slasher film called Nightmares from, this is an Australian slasher film. It's basically about this girl that's like haunted by her mother's death and stuff like that, and she's a theater actor, and basically the whole movie takes place like in a theater, and you know, it's you know, it's not as good as Stage Fright, but you know, it's got the same kind of premise, you know, like fucking, it takes place in a theater, they're doing these plays and stuff, and then, you know, people start getting picked off one by one in this theater and stuff, and then she's having these crazy visions and stuff, and then she's starting to question if she's the one doing the murders and stuff. But it's not bad. There's some pretty decent kills. I had actually fun with it. Some of the acting was kind of funny in it, but I mean, I think it was meant to be over the top though too, because of the whole theater aspect of the film. But this is an Australian film called Nightmares. It's from 19 I want to say 1980. Yeah, same year as Death Ship. So Nightmares, I do recommend it. It was fun. Next up is another film with Nightmare in the title, Rock and Roll Nightmare. Yeah, this is a John Michael Thor film. This movie is so cheesy. It's so fun. I mean, the end of this film is just ridiculous. But it's basically about, you know, his band. You know, they go, they're like an American band. They go up to Canada, and it actually is filmed in Ontario, but it takes place in Toronto. And what they're doing is they rent out this house, you know, to come up with new material for the new album, their new tour and stuff like that. But the house has a history, you know, and it's I don't really want to say too much about it, but it's like a demon film and shit. And all I gotta say though, the end of this film is hysterical. It's so funny. But the funny thing about this film is that it's practically like a huge ass music video. It's like an 83-minute music video, but it's enjoyable. It's pretty fun. I don't know. I thought the effects were cheesy and fun as fuck. And you know, John Michael Thor, not the best actor in the world, but he's entertaining to watch. And he's got really nice muscles. Yeah, and here's another film called, or with Nightmare in the title, Zombie Nightmare. This is featuring Adam West and Tina Carrere. This is another film featuring John Michael Thor. This is about John Michael Thor's character. He basically, at the beginning of the film, he breaks up like this robbery or whatever in this store, and he's coming out of the store and he gets fucking hit by, you know, these partying, you know, high school kids, these rich high school kids. Anyways, they leave him for dead and stuff like that, and so they end up taking his body to his mom's house, and his mom knows like this witch kind of voodoo doctor. Anyway, she brings him back to life, but he's like a zombie, and basically she brings him back to life to like revenge, you know, his death. So it's like a zombie slasher film. It literally is like a zombie slasher film. He's a zombie and he's going around killing people, but just the ones that, you know, that he needs to kill. I fucking love this film, man. I think it's just fantastic. I think some of the kills are pretty cool. Could have been a little bit gorier in my opinion, but you know, honestly, the music's good. You know, you got Motorhead there, Pantera, Girls' School, Thor. Like, it's just 80s cheese. It's fucking fun as hell. But no, I honestly highly recommend this film, man. I thought it was fucking fantastic. But yeah, Zombie Nightmare, loved it. So yeah. That's another 10 and 10. Sorry, I try to get these in 10 minutes, but I just can't do it. It's so hard to do. But yeah, so Mood616 signing off. Peace out, homies.